The dragon circled above, watching her. He could hear the beat of her heart against her chest, a rhythmic thud. She looked up and strained her eyes. Her heartbeat quickened when she got sight of him. He began to slowly drift toward the mountain, turning around, circling some more, then continuing in that direction again, always making sure her heartbeat was not far away. She dropped her net and began running in the direction he flew. He swerved around tall trees, tumbled through wispy clouds. Ava kept looking up. She was getting dizzy, trying to keep track of the dragon. She didn't know why she felt so drawn to it. She knew she should be afraid. She had heard nothing but terrifying stories. But she didn't feel afraid. She felt, rather, a strange calm. The wind, cold and sharp, blew through her wool shawl. She wrapped it all the tighter around her. Then she halted. Where was she? She looked back at her footprints that were already partially covered by snow. She had been so focused on following the dragon, she had not been keeping track of where she was going. As she continued in circles, the clouds grew darker, and snow, thick and heavy, began to fall and tangle in her hair and slide down her face. As it piled higher and higher around her, each step became harder and harder to manage. Where are the mountains? She wondered as the wind whipped around her. The cold was eating through her layers of clothing. Snow fell like white ash and stung her face. She spun around, looking up at the trees that all looked the same. She knew that trying to find her way back to the village was futile at this point. The mountains were now her surest hope of staying alive. If she could find a small cave to shelter her from the storm, she could build herself a fire and wait till it passed. She stumbled toward where she thought the mountains lay, though she now couldn't even see her hand in front of her face. Everything was white and gray. Tripping over a rock, she fell into the soft mush beneath her. She lay there for a while, breathless. She was so cold. She had never felt so cold before. Was this the end? Would she die here in the woods, all because she decided to chase a dragon? She chuckled a bit to herself. Of course, it was just her luck. Not some noble death, just the death of a curious fool. Oh, how she wished Edith had tagged along. Edith was always sure to mark their way. Even when chasing prey, she somehow managed to keep track of where they were going. But no, foolishly, Ava had journeyed by herself, and now she imagined she would die by herself. Pulling herself up, she dragged herself a few more inches, but her vision was failing. Everything was numb. It was becoming incredibly difficult to move even her fingers, let alone her legs. Falling once more, she leaned against a splintered tree. Through the curve of two empty branches, she saw a circle of flames before her. She blinked, and still, there they were. Her numb face felt the tickle of warmth touch it gently before she fainted.